Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we are going to make a soap using calamine powder and activated charcoal. And the inspiration was I had a comment. I had made a calamine soap where I shared the recipe. I'll leave a link for that video down below. And somebody had said charcoal would make a beautiful swirl in this, and it got me thinking. So thank you for the comment. I do read all the comments when you down below. If you take the time to watch one of my videos, I'm going to read your comments, and sometimes you all have the best suggestions, and it really gives me like inspiration. So today's soap is, today we're going to use my calamine powder and activated charcoal. I buy this in bulk. I'll leave a link for both of these powders. I get on Amazon. Just wonderful. Oh my, that calamine is the most beautiful ballet blushy pink, and I think the charcoal is going to make a gorgeous swirl, and activated charcoal is excellent in soaps. It has a lot of properties. Now, I can't make any claims. No medicinal claims being made. This is going to be a bar soap that will get you clean, it'll lather, and it will cleanse your skin. But activated charcoal has some really cool properties, and calamine powder has some really cool properties. I'm putting them both in this soap, and I'll let you do the math on what you think those might benefit you in a bar of soap. But we'll do a lather test at the end to see how the charcoal lathers and stuff. I would probably recommend to not use a white washcloth with an activated charcoal soap, but they make fabulous facial bars, body bars. Just so good. Let's talk about the fragrance I'm going to use today. I have this from Be Scented. It's called Yuzu. This is a very, very citrusy, fruity scent. So most citrus fragrances will not speed up trace in a recipe. They usually behave really well. I'm saying usually because there's always exceptions to the rule, but this one behaves beautifully in soap. I've soaped with it before. The scent retention is good. This is the fragrance we're doing today, and today's recipe, which I will be sharing down below, is going to be a palm-free recipe per request. So we're going to do a palm-free recipe. It's still super luxurious bubbles, and again, we'll do a lather test at the end, but I've got to get everything pulled together, and let's come back and make some subscriber-inspired, comment-inspired calamine and charcoal soap. All right, we are back, and here are my base oils, and I'm going to put my additives in the bulk of the base oils, but I want to talk about this recipe today. This is a brand new recipe for me, first time I'm sharing it on here, and in replacement of the olive oil, I used sunflower oil from Walmart, and I wanted to show you a price comparison because olive oil has just leaped up in price. It's getting ridiculous. So this little 48-ounce bottle of sunflower oil costs $7.84, and that is 16.3 cents an ounce. So 16 cents an ounce. For the equivalent, so the lowest grade, cheapest Walmart brand olive oil is comes in a 17-ounce bottle, so I did double that. So a 34-ounce bottle, which is a good bit smaller than this, would be $13.30, so more than twice as much, and it's 39.1 cents per ounce. So it's more than double. And so I reformulated this. Of course, when you're making a cold process soap and you change any of the oils, you have to run all the numbers through Soap Calculator and make sure your lye ratio is correct, because sunflower oil and olive oil have different saponification values. It changed my lye ratio when I changed the oils. I get asked a lot, like, I'll post a tallow soap or a lard soap, and a vegan will ask, what can I use instead of tallow or lard? That's a whole different recipe. So I can't just give you a replacement for that, because soap is different than lotions and other products. You have to be very specific. So anyway, sunflower oil is the liquid oil in here. Let's talk about the recipe real quick. This little pot here has 14.4 ounces of coconut oil, or 408 grams. It has 2.4 ounces of cocoa butter, or 68 grams. It has 4.8 ounces of shea butter, or 136 grams. It has 2.4 ounces of castor oil, or 68 grams. And it has 24 ounces of sunflower oil, and that would be 680 grams. So that's what's in here. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my regular additives. Even though I'm going to do the calamine and the charcoal, I just want this loaded up, delicious, good, and so I'm going to add my clay and my oats to this batch. The last time I made a calamine soap, I did not add clay because the calamine was the clay, but we're going to do both today. So this is about 1 tablespoon of clay in this volume of soap. And let me tell you, I'm using my little Amazon mold here. Grab it. And I am making extra batter because I want to do piping on top. So the amount I'm making today will be way too much to fit that, but I want to do a big, not quite a high top, but piping on top. So I'm making extra. So just keep that in mind. If you have the same little Amazon mold, this will be more than that mold can hold. All right, here goes my colloidal oats. Let's get this all blended up, and the fragrance is already in here because it does behave well. So let's get this blended up and then we'll get moving on. We're back. It's time to get going, but I wanted to show you the piping tip. I'm doing a little star tip that I love to do, the rosettes. It's a Wilton 1M piping tip that I'm using today. And again, the fragrance is in here, so let's talk about the lye. This is an aloe vera water lye solution, so 50% water, 50% aloe. The total liquid is 13.5 ounces or 381 grams of liquid. And then to that, I added about a teaspoon of sugar, a pinch of Tussa silk fibers, and about 2 teaspoons of sodium lactate. In this also, it has 6.77 ounces of lye or 192 grams of lye, sodium hydroxide. That is all that's in this little pot right here. And so we're going to get up to a nice, emulsion and light trace, and I'll split off for the calamine and the charcoal, which is our colors and our wonderful additives. Love everything about this. And that yuzu smells so nice. It really is delightful. It's my first time working with sunflower oil in place of olive oil. So this is going to be interesting. This little one is going to be the charcoal because I just want a wispy swirl in the mold for the charcoal, and the majority of it's going to be the calamine. Here is my calamine powder. This is a 2 tablespoon scoop, and I'm not going to go quite full, so maybe a tablespoon and a half of calamine. And then the charcoal here, I'm just going to eyeball it, but I'm going to call it about a tablespoon of charcoal. All right, let's get these blended. And when you're blending colors, go lightest to darkest, and then you don't have to rinse your blender off in between. While I'm waiting for my batter to firm up enough to pipe, I'm going to lay both colors out here so that my rosettes will have swirls in them. Let me show you what I'm waiting to see. So this is a good sign when I can pull the spatula through and it leaves an open trail, but it's not quite there yet. It's still closing in. And the side test. So I run my spatula on the side, and if the batter sort of sloops down, it's not quite ready. It's not going to hold the peaks in the piping bag, so I'm waiting for it to get a little bit stiffer. And the black one is even slower than the pink one here. So let me show you. See how it's running down the side? It's not even holding its shape. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit more before we get to the piping stage. back. It's the next day. It's been about 24 hours, but let me tell you, this was such a slow-moving batter that I'm not going to unmold it today, but it's a little dull, and so we're going to steam the top. I got this steamer on Amazon, and it is by far my favorite steamer. I use it on clothes also, but it's so quick, and it does such a good job. And it's collapsible for travel if you're going to use it for clothing, but in my soap studio, I just keep it open. Anyway, it's so simple. It's got one little button, and let me show you. So, looks beautiful. I love how the top came out, but it's not shiny. So, the only caution here is please be careful. This is very hot steam. So I'm going to keep my hand behind the mold and just press it. It comes to steam so fast. And there we go. And we're just going to run this over the soap. Now you can run your soap loaf underneath hot water in the sink, but I find the steamer is just way more convenient. And I'm not worried about dropping it in the sink because soap gets very slippery when it's wet. So this is how I like to do it. Some people will unmold their soap and then steam it. So many options, but this steamer is by far my favorite steamer I've used. Now it's spitting a little because I was holding it at an angle. But anyway, here is how shiny it is wet. And we'll come back in a few hours and I'll show you after it dries, it will keep that nice shiny look. All right, we are back. It's been about 48 hours since we made this, and we did steam the top, and it just glossed it up a little. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but it just made everything a little glossier and fresher looking. So I love it. I'm so happy with how that came out. Isn't that pretty? It was a long wait. Oh my word, this was a slow tracer. Again, I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and the final piping was about 2 hours after I poured this in the mold. So yeah, there's that. But let's get it out of the mold and see how those swirls came out on the inside. Back with the lovely Olga, and I am going to cut this with the high top up because some of my flowers went over the edge and I don't want to bump any of them. So we're going to see if we can do it like this. Yeah, this yuzu scent smells fantastic. So I'm wondering, this was my first time replacing all of the olive oil with the sunflower oil. If the sunflower is a slow mover, let me know if you know and have experience with sunflower oil, or if it was mostly the fragrance just being a citrusy scent, which are typically slow movers. I'm just going real slow here. There we go. I just wanted to make sure I didn't bonk off my pretty flowers. Let's see. Now, because this was such a slow mover, it was still a little liquidy when we poured, but I think it was firm enough. Oh gosh, hello. Look at that, you guys. Thank you to all of you that recommended calamine with charcoal. I am delighted. We may even get some soapy patterns. I'm wondering in a mold like this if the patterns come together. I'll see, but hello, beautiful. What was I saying? Yuzu, slow moving recipe. Yeah, I don't know if it's a combination of the sunflower oil and the fragrance or if it was just the fragrance, but lots and lots of time on this one. No rush whatsoever. But that's okay. It's all right for my patients to get exercised occasionally, right? I'm trying to look at it as a positive. And the end outcome here, oh my goodness, it's fabulous. I probably could have gone a little heavier on the calamine too. It's more beigey than pink, but overall, oh my word. Hey guys, I'm jumping in here. I have already filmed and edited the video that you're currently watching, and realized there was a big subject that I forgot to cover in this video. So I wanted to jump in and give a note to the sunflower oil, and I'm doing 50% sunflower oil in this recipe. Well, a lot of soapers don't like to soap with these sort of, I'll call them filler oils, sunflower, canola, soybean, the inexpensive vegetable seed type oils that you can get at the grocery store. A lot of soapers don't want to use more than 25 to 20% of those. And one of the reasons why is they just don't bring a lot to the table. They're kind of a neutral oil. They're not bringing a big skin benefit or anything. It's like a filler oil. The other reason is those oils, including sunflower oil, have a very short lifespan. They can go rancid. When you buy them, they may already be rancid. Personally, I don't consume any of those oils, but I'll make a bar of soap with it. So they can cause, because of the rancidity issue, it can cause DOS. If you don't know what that is, it's dreaded orange spots. If you've never had that happen to you, good for you. Anybody who's been soaping for a long time may have had this experience, and it literally looks like your soap got the chicken pox. It gets, only it's orange, not red, but it gets little orange like dots on your soap, and aesthetically it's not pleasing at all. The bar is still good. I have used soap with DOS. It lathers, it gets you clean, but aesthetically that is not pleasing. Now personally, I have not had that happen in years and years, and this bar of soap that you're watching the video has not had that happen. It's been several weeks since filming. It looks gorgeous. Hang on, let me grab you a bar and I'll show you. All right, it has been several weeks since I made this. It still looks gorgeous. There is no DOS on here, and this has 50% sunflower oil. But just a word to that. So if you did not want, if you want to be cautious and you want to keep your sunflower oil to 20 or 25% and do the rest in olive oil, you can do that. But a word on that, if you change any oils in a soap recipe, please run the numbers through a soap calculator, because it could change your lye ratio, and you always want to make sure you're using the proper amount of sodium hydroxide in your soap batch. So if you're not comfortable with 50% sunflower oil, bump it down to 20-25%, fill in the rest with olive oil. It's a fabulous recipe, but please run it through soap calc. So that's all I have to say on that. I wanted to address that because I know it's going to come up in the comments when somebody sees that I used 50% sunflower oil. So there it is. Let's get back to the video. So these smell fabulous. I think they look fabulous. I'm loving pretty much everything about this. So again, today's recipe was palm free because I've had many requests for that, and it was olive oil free. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try and give me some feedback on it. I sure would love to hear any of you out there that are experimenting with other oils in replacement of olive oil. And if you're having success and liking it, you know, share with all of us. I'd love to hear about it. So, oh golly, these are making me super duper happy. And I love the little twirls on top. So cute. And I just wanted to show you the soap flowers that I got with the extra batter that I had, which never goes to waste. So love it. These little flower molds that I have make about a 3-ounce bar. It's just the perfect palm size bar. So anyway, no waste. Wanted to show you those because I had a little extra piping in my bag. Oh my golly. Just so swirly and pretty. So like I said, it's been 48 hours since I poured this, and I will probably wait another day before I come in and do the stamping. It's, you know, it's firm, but it still feels a little tacky to me, and I don't want to be aggressive on these beautiful bars, and the stamping is kind of aggressive. So we'll just take our time with that, and then a few days after that, I promise I will come back and do a lather test with that little end piece of mine, and we'll see how the charcoal behaves, and if it lathers white or if it lathers black, and all of that. We will do our lather test, and I'll talk some more then. So I'm just gonna test my patience a little bit more and walk away and let these firm up, and I will see you when we do the lather test. All right, real quick before I let these go rest for another day or so, I wanted to weigh them and show you with this high top and that little Amazon mold. I got 9 really beefy bars, and let's weigh it here. It says 6.4 ounces, and this is before the cure. These are definitely going to cure out to about 6 ounces. That is a nice beefy bar of soap. So just to let you know what this volume of batter does in the soap mold. All right, we are back with my little end slice here to do a lather test and test out this palm-free, no olive oil soap recipe. And it's been about 4 days since I made this. So, in my opinion, soap lather builds as it goes through the curing process, but we're gonna lather test it anyway. But what I'm saying is I think the lather on soaps get better as it cures. I found that to be true with, which recipe was it? Oh yeah, my lard recipe had a very low suds at about a week when I did a lather test, but then after the full cure, it lathered beautifully. And I'm not sure why that is, but any of you chemists out there, if you know what's going on, let us know down below. This is having a really nice build. It's creamy, but now let me set the soap down and add a little water, and here come the bubbles. Oh my, this is nice. So I would call this a medium bubble. It doesn't have the big, huge, like 100% coconut oil has those big bubbles, but this is fluffy. It's not as dense and creamy as like a Castile soap. So I'm happy with the sunflower oil in here in replacement of the olive oil. It feels divine, and look at all that charcoal, and the lather is white. So that's cool to note. Do this again. I love lathering. I could just play with soap all day, you guys. For me, this is like, I don't know, it's fun. Yeah, that's a nice lather. Really, really nice lather. Super happy with that. All right, let's do the washcloth test with this charcoal so I can show you if it comes off on the washcloth. Okay, I'm rubbing really hard on here. I'm trying to get it rubbed off, and you can see a little bit on the washcloth. But look what happens. Because it's saponified, it's soap, it will wash right out. So again, I would not use a white washcloth with this soap just because of the charcoal. If you had really expensive, you know, washcloths, I would use a colored washcloth with this. But if you watched my Stars and Stripes video, the red, white, and blue one with the saturated oxide colorants, those came out a lot more dominantly on the washcloth than this charcoal does. And so for summer skin, oh hello, bug bites, abrasions, garden hands, this would be so wonderful. I'm just having fun playing with this. I just feel like the lather doesn't come through on the camera as good as it is in person. I wish you could be here to smell it, to see it. It's just, this is delightful. I'm really happy with this formulation. So let me know if there's anything fun that you're doing to combat those olive oil prices, if you're exchanging olive oil for another oil and having good luck with it. This I love. I love this recipe. I will be repeating. This one makes me happy. It's good stuff. These bars came out gorgeous. Thank you again to whoever recommended the charcoal with the calamine powder. What a pretty combination. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful day.